everybody, this is another video with Slapaholic Productions. My name is Adrian. Today we're going to be going over sampling in the original way I used to learn, and it's actually with the program Recycle, Audacity, and Logic, and it worked really well for me in my past. A lot of my beats are made this way. It's very accurate. I'm going to go over some ways how to use it effectively and yeah, make a cool sample beat. Alright, let's just start with the video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Alright, so let's start with the sample I chose to use this time, and the sample I used was Aretha Franklin this time, so this is how it sounds.
I'm only one step ahead of heartbreak, one step ahead of misery.
The first thing I did was I got the sample originally, I threw it into Audacity, and I kind of pitched it up in a way where, you know, it sounded a little bit faster. Yeah, it was a little bit faster. So let's start with this. I'm gonna open up Recycle. This little pencil thing right here, this is where you could add these little markers, and pretty much the whole song is played out. Just like that, and pretty much what I did was I want to catch it on every transient where there's, you know, it's like a half a bar, quarter of a bar, and so start at the very beginning. So right there, so right where that little hi-hat is, that's where I wanted to cut for the first one. What Recycle is doing is, when I put these slices in, it's going to save as a Recycle file, and when I open it up on Logic, it's going to have all these little cuts put onto like a piano roll, or in this case, I'm going to use it on my Kai to play out singly. So you're going to make a new software instrument, just like that, create, and so over here, you're going to go to Instrument, go down to EXS24 Sampler and Stereo. Always do it stereo, it's better for the panning. Edit, which is right here. Instrument, Recycle, Convert, and right there. Extract MIDI region and samples to current instrument. Yeah, so we're going to find the sample I chose, which is right there. Open, and it's already cut up for you. So you have it cut up all the way to the very end, which is nice. And once you're done, you know, close out of it. You don't need actually that part, because now it's playing live, right? So for mine, once you have it there, delete that. Add whatever effects you want to put on there. So for mine, I didn't do too much. I actually just did. Of course, I did a little bit of the cut off on the low end, you know, about to 210 or so, 205, just to cut out that bass, because I don't want all the bass in there. A little bit of reverb on there. You hear the difference? For this one, I actually played it through pretty straightforward for the first bar. So let's just record it. Filled up that last spot because the next MIDI is in the second bank, not the last bank. So it goes like that, like that. So this is how it originally started, right? So you always start with select all. For these, you might as well quantize them because you don't want it to be uneven later on. So with the sample, it's already unquantized naturally, but make it quantized just for the sake of editing, and you can modify it afterwards. Same thing before, select all, right click, and force legato, so all of them match each other. And if you want to even do it for sampling, you could do it even a little bit of an overlap, because it's not gonna, you're gonna match it up with the tempo. This song's tempo is 182 for for double time, and I did it a little bit over just to give it, just to make sure it covers the entire thing. So I added little extra parts afterwards just to make it sound a little bit fuller. in there. And so when I heard that, I was like, perfect, because it kind of adds that little, a completely different part that has no instruments, but just a choir, which is nice. So I had that go in there. That sounds like this. And then you hear this part, which I kind of like. It kind of reminds me of that Kanye West song, "Wouldn't Get Far with the Game." And that was it, you know. So I used a low pass sample again, and I just cranked it up to, you know, full capacity. I even actually on the EQ, as you can tell, I brought it up. I brought up the low end a lot to make it even, you know, pop even more, because I think the original just wasn't very. It wasn't very strong. It was a very low volume for the low end, but I just cranked it up and it actually sounded really full together. The Alchemist said it a long time ago when I used to watch these videos. Geez, he would say, you know, you put them on an island and you give them one record, and the record has what, 10 songs, 12 songs, or whatever, and he would be able to make. The whole idea is you would be able to make 100 or 1,000 different songs based on what you were given, because you could chop it up, reverse it, slice it, and make it however you want, and it's, you know, indistinguishable between the original sample. And that's the idea. You want, it's almost like the art of making a collage. It's still art. You grab an original piece, you make it your own, and then you put your creativity on it, and you know, you have your work of art. In this case, sampling. Cool. So I literally just grabbed these hi-hats, and it was very straightforward, you know, just so this is the second hi-hat. Along with the second one. Sounds nice and full, just the way I like my hi-hats. They're always, you know, kind of up in your face and loud, and it just gives you that, you know, that I don't know, that good sound to a sample that I like. So then with the snares. So the snares, I have two rules with my snares when I'm doing these kind of live sounding snares. You want a bass, right? So your bass, you want to have at least one of them quantized. The rest, they don't necessarily need to be quantized. So, and like I said, all these are like from the Kanye West kit. I mean, all very you know, old school sounding sounds. And the snare I used, this one was actually a little bit off, as you can tell. So you look at the grids, and they're not quite on. So pretty straightforward. I did a clap with a snare like this, and together they sound really, really nice and full. And I think I ended up adding a couple other little extra snares afterwards. Again with the hi-hat, the open hi-hat, I just panned it always to the left to give it some variety. It sounds good. And it's not quantized, you know, it's another one of those just naturally sounding ones. So, you know, the whole idea is you don't have to record it the first time and be like, whatever it is, that's the way it's supposed to be. You want to be able to record it, make it sound good, modify if you need to, but if it's too much of them are off, just record the damn thing again. You know, because when you think of a live band, how originally played, they're not always perfect the first time. I mean, it is live, it's natural, and unquantized, but, you know, record it as you're playing it, but, you know, get a good take and do as many over if you need to. Just like that. And yeah, that's... And you just kind of alternate between this one shaker and another shaker. Again, unquantized, awesome sound that I was looking for. A mixture with hi-hats and shakers I don't always do, especially since like the new age, it's all just, I mean, all the music is hi-hats and hard snares and some claps, but it's always nice to bring a shaker back for original samples or sampled songs. And then lastly is a kick. You know, it's not too much to the beat. You just bring in a good kick. And let's see, the kick I chose for this one was... actually a combination of two different kicks. So I did that kick along with this one, right? So between these two, I kind of just actually had 3 kicks. So I knew, I didn't need to add too much more. I think it's with the vocals, the sample, the drums. I mean, I kind of knew from the beginning it was going to sound really good just like that. Anytime you alternate between 4 bars or 2 bars or whatever, you kind of want to drop, and you want to drop it easily. I do a lot of drop the drums, have the sample, or drop the sample, have the drums. And the easiest way to do it, so you can see these are all grayed out, right? So what you do is when you have it all together, all of it is one giant MIDI grid of a recording. So I go to the part where I want to cut everything, and I go Command A, and then I do you do slice. So Command T cuts everything down the middle, and it's gonna usually ask you like this: do you want to shorten, keep, or split the notes? Always do shorten. If you do keep or split, it's gonna end up doubling your notes and doesn't necessarily do what you want it to do. Sometimes you want to do it that way, but for the most part, it's shortened because it just retracts the difference of the MIDI to the one to the left, so prior. And so when you do it, you have a nice little drop of everything, and just you have everything cut. So for all these, I wanted these muted. They don't want to necessarily deleted, because when I learned when you delete stuff, just kind of makes it annoying to find it again and have the same exact pattern. So just mute it, which for Macs is Command M, and that can mute it. And you can unmute it anytime you want to, but it just makes it quick and effective way to do it. So just hover over the part you want to split, select all, cut it, mute, and then you have your drop. For the hook, I kept it simple. I just had the sample play through with the bass line, and then for verse number 2, I just dropped the original sample and played it with the low pass, which is the bass line, which actually sounds pretty cool. No, I mean that's pretty much it. I was gonna add some other effects like a piano and a synth, but as I was adding it, didn't really sound natural. It didn't really mesh well with the song itself. And for a song like this, I want it to be kind of open for the vocalist to be able to record over easily. And the more instruments you add could sound great, but it ended up being clashy. So the simpler the better. Very straightforward. So yeah, that's the beat, and hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be here again next week with another video. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment on the video. And there you have it, OG sampling, Adrian Perez.